So we will continue our Bhagavad Gita sessions from second chapter onwards. So would you like to share any points, Abhishek Prabhu? Do you remember anything?
Yes, Prabhu. As we discussed from 2.11 to 2.30, it's Krishna's about body and soul, his teachings on body and soul. So as we started with 2.19 and we ended with 2.22, the last class, it was completely about body and soul. And there in 2.19, Krishna tells about soul cannot be killed, and soul also cannot kill any other soul. So basically, as Arjuna was confused to kill his own gurus Bhishma and Dronacharya and all, so he actually tells their soul is perishable. So means the body is perishable. So though you kill them or though whatever happens, it is not about soul is killing another soul. So basically, and he also adds that as Arjuna is doing all this under dharma, so he it will not punish him basically. So 2.20 tells the same thing, that for soul there is no birth and no death. And then even we forget our body has matter, so our body can die, but whereas soul do not have any matter. So when it comes to 2.21, it is also Krishna propagates saying that how you know mm, supreme, actually I'm confused with 2.21, Prabhu. On field, like how actually one has to behave on field, something related to that. So I'm not that I do not have that clarity on 2.21. But whereas 2.22 says until there is soul there are changes. uh, where there is no soul there is no such change. So soul is the one which is actually transforming from one's birth to old age.
2.21 is Krishna gives knowledge to Arjuna for engaging in warfare, because if he is going to fight by the order of Krishna, so he will not incur any sin. So that one point. So today we will see from second chapter, verse number 23 onwards. Just let me share the screen. It is visible, right? The screen visible?
Yes, Prabhu, it is visible. Prabhu, there is an update. Anuja has gone outside, so she will be listening to the class.
Okay, no problem. We'll recite the sloka and we'll start. Nainam chindanti sastrani.
Nainam chindan sastrani.
Nainam dahati pavaka.
Nainam navid pavaka.
Achainam kledayanti apo.
Achainam keliyanti apo.
Nasosayati marutaha.
Nasosyati marutah.
Okay, translation. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by white water, nor withered by the wind. So this is the same point Krishna is telling, that he is proving that how the soul is eternal. So actually we are discussing that what was the Arjuna's first argument? That in that five reason, what was the first five reason?
Yeah. He is not ready to fight with anybody else because he feels it as a sin. No, they are relatives, cousins,
Compassion.
gurus. Compassion.
Compassion.
Yes.
Yeah. So for that first argument, Krishna is defeating that. So for that, this means he is defeating from that 11th verse to 30th verse. So that he told that Swajana, my own relatives, that I don't want to fight because they are my relatives. So Krishna wants to prove that relatives is based on bodily relationship, not on soul. So he just Krishna is proving that how body and soul is different, and the soul never dies. So Krishna is telling that by so he is giving that knowledge, and then he's to defeat this first argument of Arjuna. So the same thing again, Krishna is proving in different direction. But here you see this sloka and the next sloka is very important because here the main characteristics of soul is described. Because there are these Mayavada philosophers are there who says that uh, we are God and we and God are same only. So they say that, but the that philosophy is defeated here. So we will see how it is defeated. So why Krishna is telling that same subject matter again and again? What is the need of repeating it? This because to emphasize the something that reiteration is required. Like for example, we can see that slokas, many slokas, like there is one sloka from Narada Puran that Harer Nama, Harer Nama eva kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatiranyata. So here you can see Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Nama eva kevalam. Just three times it is told, same thing. Why? And then again it is said Nasteva, Nasteva. Is to emphasize the subject matter that how much it is important that, and there is no other way. So one has to, like in judge also say, no, in court, order, order, order. So just to give that importance, to emphasize the important for the that subject matter. So that's why Krishna is repeating this again and again because this is the basic. And here the sloka says that how the soul cannot be cut into pieces and it cannot be burned by fire or it can't be moistened by water or withered by wind. So you can see these are all gross elements: earth, water, fire. This Pancha Mahabhut: earth, water, fire, air, ether. So one cannot kill the soul by these five elements, these gross elements. Because in this material world, whatever you get, whatever you have, everything is made up of these five gross element only. Even like for example, from earth, earthquake can come from water. There will be big rain or flood will come. Even tsunami may occur from fire. One's house may get fire from air. Air also some problem will come like hurricane can come. There are so many disasters occurs through air also, right? There are like Katrina, Rita. We have heard of it in US. You can find out that in Google also that how there is such a very powerful disaster can happen through air, means the wind. And even plane crashes also happen sometimes due to the wind. They lose the control. So air also has such a power. You can see that this Katrina, this all when it came, even big cars were flying. This also flying, and human also was holding some lamp post or some big tree. They are also flying. They're such a powerful. You just throw somewhere else, so people will die. So here, why this all these grossly elements are given is in this material, whatever will be created, it will be created by these gross elements only. These gross elements cannot kill the soul. Can you tell why? Any idea?
Basically, gross elements are the things which makes us. It is a matter. So matter cannot kill soul. It has been propagated in the previous verses.
Yeah, what you said is correct. These are matter. Soul is spirit. So it is subtler than this gross body. Even subtlest of subtle element is soul. So it cannot be destroyed by this gross matter because this is being transcendental. So this is what Krishna wants to tell that even his um, Arjuna also had that so many weapons which was made up of this grass element only, like sword, bow and arrow, and he had some elements of some subtle elements also like fire, like Brahmastra weapon. Those days they will just shoot an arrow, and then once the arrow is shot, that opposite party will shoot another arrow which will counteract this arrow. In the sense, if he is shooting fire, you might have seen in movie or somewhere that this person will be shooting, some fire will be coming, then from there another person will shoot, water will come, and it will both will be subdued. So because these are all subtle elements, and they invoke mantras. These are all same bow and arrow only, but they invoke mantra in that. So through that they have been benedicted by like Arjuna had some many astras, means many weapons he got from Indra, Lord Shiva. So they gave that weapons, means they give this mantra. So through that mantra he can uh, shoot that arrow. So these are all, even the subtle weapon, means this some subtle weapon, some grass weapon are there. This cannot kill the soul. This is what Krishna wants to tell. So you should fight. And we saw that how this sloka is very important. Means in the beginning I told you, because these Mayavadis they say that the soul is separated, and the soul is separated and it came to this material world. They say that. So if this how the soul can be separated, that is the question will come. How this, if you ask this Mayavadi how the individual soul came into existence, means how it came, they cannot answer that. They say the soul is separated. The soul cannot be separated. The soul is always individual only. Because we have seen that Nainam Chindanti Sastrani. Sastra means weapon. There is no weapon which can cut the soul. If you say that the soul is separated, so how the soul got separated? Who cut that soul, and which what weapon? There is no weapon which can cut the soul. So we can give this argument. That's why we saw that previous sloka also, that najayate mriyate vakadashi nayam bhutu bhavitavan bhavya. So in this soul, it is in this sloka said that the soul is always individual. And one more sloka also we saw, natte vaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipa. There also you can see the soul is always it is existing individually. There was no time it was not existing, and there is no time it is not existing, and there is no time that it will cease to exist. The sloka is so it is, we are always individual, and super soul is always superior to this jiva is, we are jiva and Lord is Paramatma. So Paramatma and jiva is always individual only. They both cannot merge. So in order to defeat that, this sloka you can recite. Someone as we and the Lord is same, then so how we became now we are separated, they say, how we are separated, we can ask. Whereas this sloka is saying nine and chindanti sastani, the soul cannot be cut. So how it got separated then? That question we can ask. So we can see that also after Krishna has given this knowledge, Arjuna did not become one with Krishna, isn't it? Now Arjuna and Krishna is merged. You cannot find anywhere. Arjuna then fought and he followed Krishna. He was liberated. This is what given, that nowhere it is said that Arjuna and Krishna became one. So that's why that philosophy is wrong. So one more thing here, why it is given this all this example is that soul cannot be cut by any weapon. The soul cannot be burnt because it is opposite to body. Body can cut by weapon. Body can be burnt. So this all this thing suitable for body only, not for soul. It can be moistened by water, withered by wind. So this all can be happen to body only, not for the soul. But the problem is we want body like soul. That's why we are always we don't want to die. All these desires are coming from soul only.
But Prabhu, once there was a discussion that if the soul has the shape of the body inside, then only our body forms in this way. Like it was said during DYS. Like even soul has the form. Like the soul
Yeah,
also looks like our body shape in the sense.
yeah. We gave the example of Sat. Like why Sat has hand? Because body has hand. So similarly, why body
Yes.
has hand, soul also has hand. And what is your question?
So means soul has shape.
Yes.
So like when it is so like, but I got it in this way. Like as soul cannot be cut and whatever. Like of course soul cannot be cut, but it has certain shape, right, Prabhu?
Hmm.
That's it.
Okay. Okay. So actually, this we have this the desire that because being a soul, we have the same desire that body also should be like that because we think we are this body and we want the body to be like Sachidananda. We want that happiness. It should be eternal. That eternal cannot happen here. The eternity functionality is lacking in body because body always changes, whereas the soul never changes. That's why people becomes frustrated. Whatever they try to do, the happiness one will not get because of that understanding is not there that we are not this body, we are soul. So to fulfill this desire, we do so many things, but we cannot fulfill that. No one wants to die, but anyhow we die. No one wants to become old. People will become old. That's why we become frustrated. So people what they think they can't be happy, so they become frustrated. That's why this type of wrong philosophy comes that I cannot enjoy it because everything is false here. So let's become God. We'll become God, then there will be no problem that I can enjoy them. So this is what their false philosophy they propagate here. In one sense, you see this cutting and merging, these are all material things. For soul, it is not possible because here we can cut something and we can attach that. So the same thing we cannot do with soul. So let us see next sloka. Achedyoyam adayoyam
Achedyoyam adyayoyam
akledyasosya evacha
akledyososya eva cha
nitya sarvagatastanur
nitya sarvagata stharu
achalo ayam sanatana.
achalo eyam sanatana.
Translation. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. So much elaborate explanation Krishna has given here about the soul. So here, as we say that this two sloka is very important characteristics is explained here that how this Mayavadi philosophy it refutes. So here Krishna says that the soul is unbreakable and it is insoluble. The Mayavadi says that soul will be merged, right? So it is insoluble. Insoluble means it will not be dissolved. Like you put salt in water, if you mix, it will be dissolved. So like this, the soul cannot be dissolved. So that's why the soul is insoluble. It is said, and it is unbreakable. That's what that said. Nainam chintanti sastani in that previous sloka that it cannot be broken. It cannot be cut. It is said right. But the Mayavadi says that it is separated. Separated means who cut that soul? It cannot be cut. It is said in Bhagavad Gita. So their philosophy, that's why it is wrong. Even after one attains this Brahmajyoti also, the spiritual spark means we are spark, Krishna is fire, right? So the spiritual spark remains individual only. It is something that example is given like that how this green parrot is entering into the green tree. It seems like that both are green, so the parrot and green became, means the green tree and green parrot became same. It was merged, it looks like. But still, that green parrot is living individual only there. It is not, it is merged and it doesn't have existence. It exists individually. So same way that how people are thinking that the soul is merging with their super soul and then it will become one. No, there also it remains individual only. So that actually the real destiny is that one should go to the spiritual world and become associate of Lord. When it is said that we are the servant of Lord. So one gets happiness and the fulfillment that which, as I told you in the last sloka, that which the fulfillment these Mayavadis will not get. They frustrate with everything, and then they think that I will become God now. Now I am God. So that fulfillment comes by serving Lord, either in this material world or spiritual world, not by merging in Brahmajyoti. And that one more thing, this modern science uh, said that living entity is not only is in these planets, not in some other planets, and they are not clear only. But here Shastra is very clearly telling that soul is Sarvagata. Sarvagata means all pervading. Means the soul is everywhere. Means which means the living entity is everywhere. It is not like that the living entity cannot survive in other planet because of uh, there are some and that environment is not suitable. No, the living entity can live everywhere. Like as a human being, we cannot live in water. If someone dumps us in water, only some few minutes only that body can survive, then the body will die. But fish can live peacefully. Same way, if you remove the fish out of water, the fish will die. So that body has been given according to that atmosphere. Like if somebody is from some other planets, aliens is coming and he is landing in some desert. So in desert you cannot find anything, right? There will be no entities only sand will be there. And he is coming and he is landing in the desert and he is seeing every direction, nothing is there. So and he is going back and he is making a theory. In here there is no life. So like this, they might have visited somewhere and they are unable to find, or they need they maybe they might not have visited also. Who knows? But here Shastra is saying the soul can be everywhere. It is the soul is there in fire also. In the sense the living entity is there in fire also. That's why we saw that sun planet. The sun name is Vivaswan. There also life is there because Vivaswan is a demigod. The demigod is living there, so there is living entity also. So this sterilization is refuted. I think you know this sterilization process. In those days, when someone wants to inject some the olden days, so what they do, they just uh, ask the doctor will come and ask you to bring some hot water. So he just cleanses the needle and that injection with the hot water. So he cleanses with it three times. He just take the water and remove it. Two, three times he does, and then he thinks that the bacteria and viruses will die because he has cleaned with hot water. But this sterilization, this process is refuted here because that living entity is there in fire also. So what to speak of this hot water? Fire also the living entity is present. So the living entity is Sarvagata, is presence everywhere. Without knowing this, scientists waste so much money to find out that whether the living entity is living or not in other planets. If they simply accept this Shastra means, then they can save so much money and they can come to the conclusion also. The Shastra gives everything clear cut. You can see many acharyas, like for example, you see in South India only, you see Tamil Nadu Ramanujacharya is there, Karnataka Madhvacharya is there. You can see like in Andhra also there are so many acharyas came and Prabhupada came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord himself came. And these many acharyas came from all over India in many places they came. And they all gave the same truth only. that everything came from God. God is supreme. That God is Krishna. You cannot find that some acharya gave something else. All the acharya, and you can see there is no connection between them. Like they are, everyone has their own language. The languages are different. The environment are different. But the message they gave, everything is same only. That everything came from Lord. Lord is supreme. We are all servant of Lord. But whereas you see this scientist, they study almost same thing only. Everyone will study about same subject matter only they study. But still they give different answer, different opinion. And their opinions keep changes because they don't have proper understanding. Because this world is given by God and he can only tell that properly what can be done, what should not be done, how it can, everything, all the details can be given by God only. So that's why this human being they are unable to understand also. On top of it, they are having this. Everyone, means the human beings has these four defects. That's why we saw in the device also the Sabda Brahman is highest thing. Hearing from authorized living entity means authorized person. Because they are having this four defect and they are trying to understand and they come to some conclusion. After some time, another person will come and then he will again find out uh, some other philosophy he will give, some other understanding he will give. So it keeps changes. That's why we can see so far they don't have yet strong understanding that how how this world came into existence. They don't know. Still, some other many theories are keeps on coming. They just theorize the things, and they don't have any practicality. They did not prove anything. So all right. So we'll go to next sloka. One more thing. Here it is, the Prabhupada says that the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word Sarvagata living everywhere become meaningless. This one thing. So if that living entity cannot survive in fire, then the word what Lord used in this sloka, this Sarvagata. Sarvagata meaning means you can see all pervading. The soul is present. The soul can present everywhere, and it accepts the body according to that environment. Why he accepts is due to the living entity's desire. Like someone wants to sleep for, someone likes to sleep, then he gets the body, ignorant body. Because sleeping is the mode of ignorance. The ignorant body is like polar bear. So it can nicely sleep in this such a winter, such a cold atmosphere where only snow and ice is there. So the body is made accordingly. So it doesn't. But if we put into that condition, it will be difficult for us to survive. If someone throws us in water, also difficult for us. So according to desire, the different that 84 lakhs body is given because 84 lakhs desires are there. Can you imagine that many desires are there? Means so much combination. So that's why this 84 types of living entities and Krishna is ready to fulfill the desire of all living entities, even it is bad or good. Because he is being a father, he fulfills everyone's desire. Why he is fulfilling? Because then only this fellow will undergo, that jiva will undergo that body and he will finally understand that this will not give me happiness. So let me have another desire. Maybe this way if I enjoy, I will be happy. This way if I enjoy, I will be happy. So it keeps changes from one body to another body to another body. It keeps changes. Then finally this fellow will frustrate and comes to conclusion why I'm not happy. Then slowly he may try to understand about God. That's why this human being body is given. This is the body where he can think all this type of he can ask these types of question and he can find answer also. So okay, we'll go to sloka number 25. Avyakto ayam achintya. No, this is done, right? Avyakto ayam achintyayam.
Avyakto ayamachintayam.
Avikaryo ayam uchyate.
Avikaryo ava uchyate.
Tasmadyevam viditvainam.
Tasma evam
Tasmat evam
viditvaidam.
viditvainam
Anusositam arhasi.
Nanum sochitam
nanu
arhasi.
sochitam arshati.
Abhishek bro, can you read translation?
Yes, Prabhu. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body.
And everybody knows the meaning of these three words: invisible, inconceivable, and immutable.
It is basically, first of all, we cannot see soul.
Yeah.
Second thing is, it cannot be captured or it cannot be kept in a cage. And
Inconceivable
third,
means cannot
it cannot
understand.
be, cannot understand. Okay. And immutable is we
Inconceivable
cannot
means
stop.
Sorry. Immutable means
Immutable means basically like it cannot be stopped in any ways.
yeah. One more thing,
so
unchangeable.
like yeah. So inconceivable means one well like we cannot imagine, we cannot think about it with our senses. We cannot know
Yeah.
about soul. Immutable means the one which does not change at all, which remains as it
Yes.
is.
Unchangeable. It is immutable means. Inconceivable means that's for that. We cannot understand. We cannot comprehend it. So this or that. By knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Because Krishna is telling that we are soul, we are not this body. If you know that the soul is invisible and inconceivable and immutable, you should not grieve. Grieve means lament for the body. Next sloka is very interesting if you see. Like Krishna will change the topic. We will see that. So here what Krishna is telling. So Krishna says that stop thinking about body and do your duty. Krishna want to tell that because we accept that higher authority to know the thing. We don't accept, we don't try to do things according to our own way or our by using our own understanding or intelligence. That's why these three types of gaining knowledge we speak, right? Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Sapta Prama. So Krishna is refuting here this Anuman Prama. Anuman means speculating. We ourselves thinking and trying to come to the conclusion. That should not happen here. And of course, Pratyaksha also. Pratyaksha means understanding, means gaining knowledge through our senses. So this all been refuted. Similarly, we accept things from higher authority. Like one thing we can accept, like uh, if you want to know who is one's father, what is the best way to understand? To know who is one's own
Sorry,
father, what is the best way to understand?
ask mother.
Yeah, if you ask mother, then the mother will tell who is one's father. But instead of asking, if someone tries to use his own intelligence and let me find out who is my father, in his whole lifetime he may not be able to find also. Most probably he cannot find only because so many living entities are there. If you tries to find out on what basis, maybe DNA can try. Even DNA also it is said many DNAs matches also. Some 7 or 8 DNAs of like out of some person, 7 DNA something it matches. It's a calculation is there according to science. So it's very difficult. But if you ask mother, she simply tells. So like this, one has to accept the authority. People that's why blindly they accept also so-called higher authority like this. Darwin's theory is there. We don't know only this Darwin's theory. We might have not heard also whether it is right or wrong or what it is. So he told that the living entity came from monkey. Sorry, human being came from monkey. So evolution theory he brought. From one living entity, another living entity evolved. So we just accept blindly. So it should not happen like that. People they accept these type of things, but when the Shastra comes, they object it. They don't accept the Shastra. Even though Shastra tells truth, as we saw that from time immemorial means since beginning the Shastra is telling the same thing. The Shastra is not changing. That Shastra never denies there is no God, or somebody else came and something they wrote on Shastra that there is no God, something like that. No, all the acharyas they told the same point only that God is there, we are soul, and the Lord is super soul, and we are part and part of parcel of God. The same theory only given by every acharya, but the science one scientist gives different uh, theory he will bring, and everything then will be failed. Again they will try. So as we saw that we due to defect that the means due to the four defects, the scientist cannot give the proper knowledge. Because the Shastra is given by Lord, there is no mistake or defects. Because Lord is above these defects. He is not. He doesn't have the senses like the human being. His senses also spiritual, but ours is material. So one should accept it without any experiment. Of course, Shastra never says that blindly you have to accept. There is analogy is given and logic is given. There is proof also given. That's why now Krishna is giving the proof that how we are soul, we are not this body. From the 11th to 30th verse, 20 verse, Krishna is giving the strong proof. So it is not simply blindly it is given. But the one thing we are unable to see that. That's why that invisible. That person, even people are trying to find out where is the soul. I want to. They are unable to see the soul. That's why they think that we will reject it. They want that we should be able to see everything by our this material eyes. Many things we cannot see also, but still we accept. When there is faith crisis comes, one should go to that proper authority. As I told you that mother, one should ask who is my father. If he thinks I am black, my father is looking white, so I cannot accept it. No. If someone tried to uh, doubts on someone wants to doubts on faith, then he cannot accept anything here. Even he cannot accept his own father also. So like this, but Shastra one has to see that the person who is giving that knowledge, what kind of personality he is, what character he has, what quality he has, and from where he got this knowledge. That's why if somebody this Shastra is given by Lord, it's a manual for this human being. One should accept it. But people they accept this Darwin's theory, everything, but they have difficulty in accepting Shastra. So here that we saw that how this soul is invisible. If something cannot be seen, then how can you kill? That is the question to Arjuna. And the second thing we saw it is inconceivable. Why it is said that it is inconceivable? Even though you can bring the most powerful microscope also, still you cannot see the soul. In previous verses we have that we seen that size of the soul. The soul size is we see that the tip of the hair you
Tip of
take
the hair
and
divided by
cut
10,000.
into 100 pieces and again take that one part and again cut into 100 pieces means 1 by 10,000. If you make that is it is also given as just some example which we can imagine. The soul sizes we cannot see only. So general
But
it
in
is
the
a
very
sun.
next no, in the very
Sorry.
next sense, in the very next verse, it is said, "Soul is
Yeah,
immeasurable."
immeasurable and it is invisible. So because it is inconceivable also. But how this tiny soul, you can see it is very tiny. This soul is. We saw that it is immeasurable, and how this tiny soul has such a power. Even the soul is there in this bacteria's body also. It is there in elephant body also. Both are how they are getting strength. The bacteria has their own strength, and the elephant has its own strength. Elephant can just root out a tree only, big tree, just use by using its trunk. So how it is getting such a power? As soon as the soul comes out, the elephant will die. It doesn't have that power. Where that power gone? So the soul has such a power, and how it is working, how it has such a power, we cannot understand only. And there are such a big Timingala fishes, which is uh, the size maybe equal to this temple also. Such a big living entities are there, which we did not see. 84 lakh species there, right? Hardly we have seen some 100 with our eyes, not in computer or net. With our eyes, how many living entities we might have seen? Very less. So many living entities, different living entities are there. When Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that Parishit Maharaj will be killed by a snake. That snake has wings. That's all. That bad. There's a bad snake. So it is also there. Even in YouTube one video, I got that snake is flying like a bat. So these are all there. Means this is told when some 5,000 years back. This Srimad Bhagavatam. But still, now they have proven that living entities, such a living entity is there. So like this, many things what Shastra says one has to accept. And in this way, that one is this is inconceivable to our knowledge. Just one example I gave that how the soul has power, from where the soul is getting power. An elephant has that much power. So that's why it is inconceivable. And another thing is immutable. Why it is said immutable? Means unchangeable. In what sense? Is it my question clear?
No idea, Prabhu.
Just compare it with the body.
Yes, body, when it dies, it stops everything. Nobody can speak. The body cannot speak. Whereas
So like body goes through 6 transformations and soul does not.
Yes. The 6 changes it happens in body. But soul, whereas there is no changes. That's why the soul is eternal. Because body changes, it is temporary. Just opposite. So in this way, that it is said that how these three things Krishna explains: the invisible, inconceivable, immutable. Mm. Even though you see, you compare it to this body, the body is visible and the body is mutable, and still it remains the body is inconceivable only. Even though you can see, still you cannot understand how the body is functioning. So some disease comes, we don't know what should be given, what should be done, and how this food is digesting. There are so many things are happening within this body. There are things which we can see only we cannot understand. Many things we are seeing we are unable to understand. Things which you cannot see, how can you understand? So accepting Shastra is that's why very important. It's Sabda Brahman. On top of it, Shastra is not something, mm, some blind truth is given here. Something blind, what do you call, some hazy definition is not given. Very clear cut example, logic, everything is proven. Okay, let's see anything. So here Prabhupada is telling that the super soul is infinite and the atomic soul is infinitesimal. Therefore, the infinitesimal soul, being unchangeable, can never become equal to the infinite soul. This is again Prabhupada is telling about that Maya, the philosophy. Can never become equal to the infinite soul or the supreme personality of God. The soul and super soul cannot become equal. This concept is repeated in the Vedas in different ways just to confirm the stability of the conception of the soul. Repetition of something is necessary in order that we understand a matter thoroughly without error. So a person asked Prabhupada that why you are telling same thing again and again, Prabhupada. I have heard in this class also, heard in that class, he referred also. So Prabhupada said, I have told many times you are telling. Are you following that? He said, no. Are you applying that? No. So that's why Prabhupada said, until you apply, I will repeat. Because generally our mentality is very difficult. Now we will hear we may get some spiritually we feel and we want to do many things, but after sometimes again we'll forget. This is the problem in this Kali Yuga. That forgetfulness is very strong here. As soon as we hear, we get some kind of tendency, anything. So some force will be there. I have to do nicely now sadhana. I want to chant 16 rounds, everything. But after this, sometimes it will go because of the influence of this Kali Yuga. So let us go to next verse. Ata chainam nityajatam
अतः चैनं नित्यजातं
nityam va manyase mritam
नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं
tatapi tvamahabaho
तथापि
त्वं महाबाहो
nainam sositamarhasi.
नयनं
नैनं
शोषितुम्
शोचितुम् अर्हसि
अर्हसि.
Translation. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life is always born and dies forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed. So here subject matter Krishna changed. If the soul born and dies always, still you don't need to lament. Krishna is hmm, Krishna is checkmating Arjuna. He's just blocking Arjuna in every way, just to ask him to. He wants to perform Arjuna his duty. So how he is doing this checkmate? Krishna explained. So far, Krishna explained from Shastra's view that how soul is eternal and body is temporary. We saw that first some verses from this 11th verses. Krishna told that how this body changes, how dies, and what is his body. Then he told about soul and its characteristics of soul is going on now. Now Krishna is changing that. He's explaining in worldly point of view, like how this atheist and this Buddhist, this scientist, how they explain. Like that, Krishna also now explaining and telling that still you have to fight only. You cannot escape. Means still Krishna is establishing his truth. See, so far Krishna told from scripture the soul is eternal. That's what that in this battle then no one is going to die. So you fight. But here, how Krishna is checkmating Arjuna, Krishna uses the worldly point of view that if you think there is nothing as soul, if there is no soul, if you think, still the body is just a combination of chemical elements. Right? Body is combination of these chemical elements only. So still you don't need to worry. Just if I give you some 2 liter of some chemical in a bottle, somehow you drop it down and the bottle is broken and all the chemical got wasted. And nobody is going to cry. The chemical is wasted. Nobody is so similarly the body also. If you think there is no soul, this body is made up of chemical only. By killing this body, if you feel this body is chemical, by wasting chemical, nobody is going to suffer. Why are you lamenting for this? For the wastage of chemical, like in so many wars happen. That time many chemicals are used and even in laboratory also so many chemicals they are using, the wastage chemicals are thrown out, so nobody is crying for the chemicals. So if you think there is no soul, we are only body, then still you don't need to lament, you can just fight. Nobody is going to worry for wastage of chemicals. This is what Krishna's point, that in the sense how Krishna is telling that Arjuna in many direction he is telling that how you have to fight. And another point of view also here, Krishna is telling, if you think the soul is also going to die along with the body, like the body and soul is gets birth only once, and the body soul is going to die only once. After that, the soul is or body is not going to take neither birth or nor death. So that it is connection to next sloka. So Krishna is just telling now this. He is bringing that platform that then only he can explain that next sloka also. If you think that body and soul never gets birth and death again, still you fight, because by fighting you are not going to get any sin. Can someone able to understand why there is no sin if that body and soul will die means?
It is a process.
Now, did you understand what I am trying to say? Krishna is checkmating Arjuna in two ways. First one, he told, if you think there is no soul, this concept like some people say, because we are unable to see soul, so let us tell there is no soul only. So there is no soul, then only body is there means. So body is made up of chemicals. Nobody is going to cry wastage of chemicals. Like that's why they gave example of if you drop a bottle of chemical, if it is broken, nobody is going to lament. Then my chemical bottle is broken. This is just a wastage of chemical. So like this is body also made up of chemical. For the wastage of chemical, nobody is going to cry. So you can fight. That is one argument. And another thing Krishna is giving that if you think the soul is also going to die, means here you are accepting the soul is there, but soul is also going to die. Still you fight and you kill them. In this way you are not going to get sin. Because if there is no soul concept means then there is no sin also. How? This is what my question. Because if soul is not there means there is no rebirth also, na? What is the connection between this body and the next body? What takes rebirth? The reincarnation. The soul only takes rebirth. Body never
Soul.
takes rebirth. Body is either buried or burnt. So body doesn't have rebirth. Next birth is not there for body. So if you think there is no soul, the soul will take birth and death only one time, then still you fight because by killing them you are not going to get any sin. This is the third argument which Arjuna gave, sinful tendency. So the sin is not going to, still you have to accept and fight. So what Krishna wants to tell here is either you accept there is soul or not, still you have to fight because there is no harm in performing your duty. In both the way, Krishna has proven Arjuna that if there is soul, if you think again the same thing we saw that, then soul is eternal. Eternal, the being the eternal, the soul is don't not going to die. So you fight. This is what you accept or you don't accept. You fight. Are you clear, Abhishek bro? What I'm trying to say?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So here Krishna called Arjuna very sarcastically like Mahabaho. You can see here Mahabaho, which means mighty armed. Arjuna has mighty armed. He is very hefty and his shoulder also was very big. So he is telling Mahabaho. He's telling Krishna is telling very sarcastically because this type of understanding was not expected from Arjuna. So Krishna wants to tell just by having strong arm is not sufficient. You should able to your enemy. The real enemy is not this person who is standing there. The real enemy is there within you. That is your ego, which is false. Your ego means that identifying wrongly with the body. Ego is that only, na? We think always I am proud. I should be respected. That is ego, right? If somebody is respected, I will become angry. So like this thinking about I means we are thinking about this body. That is that ego. So you should understand we are not this body, we are soul. Just having this strong arm is not sufficient. You should have means just by subduing your enemy with the strong hand is not sufficient. You have to subdue the real enemy who is there within you. That is the ego. You should be able to subdue that. So this is what that's why Krishna is calling here Arjuna as Mahabaho. So all right. If do you have any question? Hare Krishna.
Have no questions.
Any doubt or any question you can ask. Otherwise, we will
I
stop.
don't have anything.
Okay. Okay, then all right. There is some one more class also here
Yes, Prabhu. Hare
that
Krishna.
I